Hello everyone, my name is Rachel. Welcome to the very first podcast episode of A Chance to Reconnect. A podcast where I talk to my friends about themselves, their challenges, and basically connection to different aspects of their life. So today, this episode, I invited a very special friend. This friend whom I have known for more than 10 years, whom I have known through volunteer work at an animal shelter. So I'm very glad to have her today to chit-chat. So let's start.
Yay, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, May.
Very proud of you of doing this podcast.
Thank you.
加油.
Thank you. You know, when I come out with this podcast, I have always wanted to invite you. You are one of the person I want to talk to.
That's why I'm so very honored, Okay.
You know, basically there's a few points. Because first thing is, we have known each other for so many years.
Yeah.
And our connection, when it comes to connection, our connection is through our love for the dogs. And in our case, Mali. A very special, a very special dog that is very dear to our heart. You know,
Yes.
That is what kept us in context after so many years.
I don't know why I felt crying when you said that.
Really, but it is true.
Okay, yeah.
That is why I feel what inspires me to come out with this podcast episode is really to really connect to my friends and really to also to tell them, what we sometimes may not do so every day. Day-to-day life, we may just breeze through life and, we see your updates on social media. And basically that's it. But we never really talk to each other in the sense that sometimes on a deeper level, although we don't have to, but it's just a way of showing gratitude to my friends. To tell them, they mean some place to me in my heart. So yes, so having you here is very special, and because of our connection with Mali again, we will talk a lot about Mali. And also because, through volunteer work, we know each other better, how we do things outside of work. It's not like a professional career, but it's something that we do in our personal life. But yet we see the way we handle things. And for you, I really like the way you remain calm and composed, despite the chaos. Yeah, basically the way you manage matter. So when it comes to this podcast, you came to my mind and I go to you knowing that because you're always very supportive, you will unlikely reject me.
So let me go through the probability already.
Yes, and I also prepare the rejection, how to counter the rejection.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so let's clear the elephant in the room, right? And then also one thing that I really want to touch on is 2 years ago, right? You took a very brave step to change your career path. You have been in the hotel line for, I believe, more than 15 years, right?
Yeah.
So coming out of it, it's like coming out of COVID. So what makes you have this such a career change? Because I believe for many of us, sometimes even for myself, that we get tired or maybe a bit strained with the day-to-day work, that we sometimes wish we could be out of this red cycle. A lot of us may not be that brave to take this step to have a total change, stepping out of it. So how long were this plan? How long have you planned this? Yeah, we basically I just want to hear from you.
Okay. I think earlier on you mentioned about COVID, right? So I think COVID definitely was one of the factors that actually triggered me to make this decision. I think firstly, I'll just clarify, I was very lucky that back then, even though I was in the hotel line, right, during the COVID, during the worst times, right, where our industry was badly hit, I actually had my job. Okay, so I wasn't retrenched or whatever, so I was very fortunate.
Yes.
But I think it set me thinking that our industry is very vulnerable and is very easily so-called influenced by external factors like COVID. Okay, so that's definitely one factor. I think second factor was because, as you said, I was in the hotel line for a long time, about maybe 15 to 18 years. I can't remember exactly. And I think I felt very jaded in the things that I was doing. So in my last role, I was actually there with the company for about 9 years. And I think also I mean, I'm fine with so-called adjusting to different leadership styles. I mean, depending on who's my reporting manager. And it was just so unfortunate that I couldn't really gel very well with my reporting manager then. Okay, so I would say these are the few factors relating to the job itself that made me wanted to get out of the industry. And I think also because of during COVID, one of my friends, close friends or close colleague as well, she actually motivated me to take up a so-called part-time course, which is something to do with training, how to be a trainer whereby you can engage or facilitate sessions. So I thought, hey, we have our Skill Future credit, right? So whoever is watching now, please utilize the future, our Skill Future credit. So I utilized that to so-called upgrade myself, and I got a certification. Then I realized that, hey, I could do something with this certification whereby I could actually do some trainings, which I actually enjoy because I like sharing knowledge and I like educating so-called learners in general. And I think the last factor was also because you mentioned Mali, right, was our connection, right? Actually, it was very unfortunate also during that period of time. I think just a few months before I made this decision, there was an accident at home. Mali beat my mom. So, and it happened because my mom attempted to walk Marley, and she probably couldn't read his body language to see how uncomfortable he was. But my mom being very sweet, right? She always feel that, the dog has been at home for long hours, and she wanted to relieve my responsibilities by helping to walk Marley because he's grass trained. And that bite was really quite bad because I think she did not manage to get it in so-called disinfected in time. So she ended up having go for treatment in hospital. I think that triggered me to also find other job alternative because I wanted something that was more flexible. Yeah, in terms of hours, so that my mom did not worry that, I do not have time to care for my dogs. I mean, I feel that I'm the main caregiver. She should put that as the least priority in terms of taking care of my dogs.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure when I told my friends or a lot of people about my decision, that a lot of them said that I was doing it on impulse. I agreed. Back then, actually, I didn't plan for it. Okay? If you had asked me like 1 year ago, right, before the resignation, right, I would not have thought that I would have left the industry. But I think it was all because of this incidents that happened at the same time, push factor, pull factors, etc., that made me take this plunge. And frankly, it's been 2 years now, and I'm very comfortable where I am. And I would say that, of course, there's still room for improvement, of course, in terms of like finances. But hey, I think I'm still coping all right. And I still look forward to, and I'm still very excited with whatever I'm doing now, basically. Yeah, so I hope that kind of summarize the whole situation, why I took the plunge to change the industry. As I said, it did not take a lot of planning. It was really because of all those factors that happened, and I thought, okay, I had enough. So this is the time, let me just do it. And of course, I forgot to mention, I think financially wise, I guess because I was thinking about that as well. But I felt that because the main commitment was definitely the house, right? We were lucky that the house has been paid off. Yeah, which I think is mainly the main burden of most Singaporeans.
Correct.
So I was very fortunate as well. And I feel like my mom at this point in time is still, although she's a senior, she's in her 60s, close to 70, she's still healthy and active. So I don't want to wait until when she's much older, or rather when unfortunately she falls ill, and I decided to take the plunge and try something new, right? I think that would not have been a good timing. I think no timing is a good timing, you get what I mean? So I just decided to do it now, since that there's not much of worry in terms of anyone's health, etc. And I could focus on what I really wanted to do.
Correct. And you can also accompany her, and spend quality time with her, basically.
Yeah, correct. I think, frankly, there's still a lot of work to be done in terms of spending quality time with family, right? Because sometimes when you stay with your family and we see each other every day, I mean, I'm not going to say it's all a rosy situation. There's bound to be some kind of conflicts, but at least I know that in terms of the main caregiving of my dogs, or if there are instances where I need to help out at home, she knows that it will be taken care of.
Yes, it's a big relief.
Correct.
But why dog daycare? You see, it could have been like another profession, maybe not in the hotel line, but maybe I don't know, maybe in some other industry that allows you with more flexibility, but why daycare?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, as you know, we met each other through shelter volunteering, right? And I felt that I think we have been volunteering there for how long? 10 years, right?
Well, for me, I think it was at least 3 years.
3 years.
I think you could have been longer, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I really lost count how many years I spent volunteering there. But frankly,
You were there when before I joined. You were already there for at least 2 years. I recall.
okay,
I recall something like that.
Okay,
and then even after I left, after I had baby, after I had baby, I still continue for 1 year on. But then after that, you continue, and then when they move to the new location, you continue to volunteer. So I think it could have been easily 7 years, 8 years
yeah.
at least.
Maybe around there. Yeah. So I think that the environment made me learn a lot about dogs, especially about Singapore specials, about mongrels, right? So, and I felt like I was confident that with the network that I have, whether it's dog owners, like they could be my friends, and they could also be past adopters or fosterers that I got to know. So I felt comfortable that, hey, at least I know that if I'm going to start up this business, right, I have at least a small foundation that I could start with. And hopefully knowing my character and my professionalism, they'll be able to help me so-called make referrals and things like that. So I think that was a reason why I thought that I really want to do dog daycare. And of course, I mean, I drive, right? I think one main component of dog daycare, which I do with my dogs, is that I pick up the dogs, I bring them out for walks, etc. So having this form of transport definitely is a big plus as well. Correct. Then actually, other than dog daycare, frankly, if we just do dog daycare alone, and especially since, as you're aware, I'm home-based, right? I didn't really want to make it a big scale. So with that said, it also means that my income is limited. So I was fully aware that I couldn't sustain just based on dog daycare.
Yes.
Okay, let's just be practical. So that's why, remember I told you earlier on, I completed a training certification. So that's why I'm also a freelance trainer now, whereby I actually have opportunities to train at schools, educating the younger crowds about some soft skills like leadership, design thinking, etc., which I really enjoy. And every time the learners that you meet are always different audiences, and the content of the so-called materials that I get, that I'm in touch with are also different. So I feel like there's a lot of different new learnings, which I really enjoy, which I felt was really very stagnant at my previous job. Yeah. So that's why I say I have two so-called jobs, which I could do at my own timing, whereby it's more flexible and in my control in that sense.
Correct. I think back to your probably or success for dog daycare, right? I think all of us who know you would know that you are the one of the few person who can really handle dogs very well. So if there's out of the so many,
I tell you, you're not seeing me when I see dogs fight, right? You know, I cringe, and I was just hoping, I hope they'll be okay. But yes, you have to be very calm and composed.
Right, that's right. Because everyone will cringe or whatever when the dog really fights. You know, not just the normal scuffles, but the really serious one. Anyone will cringe. But I think for you, right, as in one of the few that I have known through volunteering work at the shelter, is you are able to really remain calm.
Very flattered,
Yeah, this bounce really something. It's just like you, Carol, and Sheila, one of those few that, who are still be able to like remain calm and handle the situation. But I think a lot of us who love dogs, going there to take care of the shelter dogs for our love, may not necessarily means that, or translate that into knowing how to handle different dogs. Right? Because they are rescued and they show different temperaments, right, etc. So is you need to be really trained and trained in a basic sense, but at the same time know how to manage the situation. Right. So I think your chance of success for a dog daycare is there. And so far you have proven it.
There's still room to grow for sure. I'm very thankful for referrals, very thankful that even some current SOSD volunteers still make referrals to me as well. So really thankful for that.
Yeah, yes, it's correct. But there's also this question of, you know, like you say, you did this on impulse, right? So when it comes to taking back, you know, at the end of the day, did you have did you plan and say, okay, if this fail, I would have at least, you know, this amount to sustain, or I will give myself 6 months or 8 months, you know, to do this, or if up to this timeline, if I'm still not getting there, what was your backup plan? What was in your mind?
Firstly, of course, I need to see how much money I have inside my bank account. I still need to pay my mom allowance so she can enjoy her mahjong, enjoy her life, right? So, yes, definitely, I did try to firstly work out what are the expenses I have monthly. And then at the same time, I also try to see how much savings I have. And then based on the savings itself, I try to see how long can I sustain based on the amount and with all the commitments that I have. So that was the first thing that I actually think about first. So at the same time, of course, on the practical note, I mean, obviously, I can't possibly be just spending and not earning money, right? So I did think about that aspect as well, whereby, so even though I have this amount of savings and because of my expenses, this will last me this long, but it should be longer than that because I'm still working, right? Whether it's training, allowances. Okay, everyone, this is Mali, okay? Okay, so depending on whether I get my so-called income from training or my income from dog daycare or dog transport. So that was what I was thinking of. And then at the same time, I did think that, what if I actually fail? To be honest, I think I already met with a huge hurdle because I came to a situation where I almost ran out of my savings already. Yeah. And of course the jobs I was getting.
How many months was that into?
I think that was almost like maybe 1 year into it.
Okay.
So it happened last year actually.
Okay.
So I need to rework my finances. I had to speak to my finance planner and say that, hey, are there certain policies that maybe you feel like I could probably surrender, because I think at that point of time, I was a little bit probably eager to get more savings or more funds on standby just to feel more secure. You get what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that was one thing that actually happened, whereby you need to rework on your finances. And then I think with that, things started to improve slightly, because I think I got more jobs from training. And even from the training itself, I was given opportunity to do some project coordination work whereby I prepare course materials and I get paid for that as well. Yeah, so I thought I was quite lucky because that is also additional income on top of my training hours.
Okay.
And then also I managed to get some other training opportunities, even things like public speaking in other agencies. And then, of course, my dog daycare clients starting to be on an increasing trend, which was really good. Yeah, so basically that was what happened. I mean, even till now, I still think about, wow, what is the worst scenario that will happen? I mean, frankly, I still cannot imagine if I have to go back to corporate life.
Yeah.
That would be the last resort or last option. But I feel like if the time comes whereby, let's say, touch wood, there's another COVID, nobody can go out, nobody can send their dogs out. I have no training opportunity, maybe some online sessions maybe. And maybe if touch wood, one of my family members is ill, I need more income. Yes, then maybe I feel that, I need to survive. I need to be versatile. Maybe I need to find another full-time job. Yeah, so those are the things that, of course, did ring in my head time to time. Yeah.
Right. I can understand that lah. I think being single actually help to, like if it's in my situation with a family, and I would have think of just quitting on impulse.
Yeah.
I think the burden will be so much different. But I'm not saying that it's easier for a single. Okay, I'm just saying that there's a little bit more, load off your shoulder at least, right?
I guess, yes, agree. I'm very sure, I'm very sure parents like you with children, naturally you all have a lot more commitment. You think you have to do a lot of future planning for your kids. Yeah, that's for sure.
I think stability.
Yeah.
But I think if I were in your situation, right, I can't say I would take the plunge too, even if I am in your situation. like if I'm single, I don't have to take care of my parent, or I don't have the children. I don't think it's that easy. What I want to say is, I don't think it's that easy to just say change a job, because these days, we tend to value enjoyment so much more than our parents used to. Like, we will eat out at places, we will spend money on accessories, especially girls. We have things to buy, we have bags, or we have cosmetic, hair, whatever. So I think all these add up to the expenses, and the
thing here is, add on to that, right? I feel like the more income you have, the more you spend.
Yes.
And now it's also because a more limited income, I spend much lesser on those things that you mentioned, whether it's like, even when it comes to food, right, I'll think to myself, okay, when I order through Food Panda, which one comes with free delivery? Or which one has a certain voucher I can use? It's things like that which I probably would have never considered in my last job, because I was so comfortable with the income.
Yes,
so I think it really depends on the situation, what it drives us to
correct.
Yeah.
So even if in the same situation, because we have enjoyed all this, like, we are so used to spending and enjoying all this, luxuries, right? Free access to so many things in our life, that we don't want to forego this extra income. Don't want to forego this extra income so that we can have more enjoyment, going out to stick places, to the latest restaurant joint, buffets, or hotel staycation, So I think there's a balance that we have to strike. Like, this is really not necessary. A lot of things are not necessary if we look back.
I know, right?
Like, do we have to really go to a restaurant or try out a new place every month? We don't really have to, right? It's really about spending that time with this friend, or your partner, like spending quality time and going to your favorite place. I mean, my comfort food is ramen. If I can have a comfort food at my,
that I didn't know. Now I know.
Yeah, my comfort food is ramen. So if I really want to, have some nice meal, I'll go for ramen. It need not be like some omakase place, or steakhouse. I think it's what we choose in life, lah. So I'm glad, at least, even after taking such a pay cut, lah, right? I would say you find some enjoyment. I see in your latest post, you are enjoying life right now, right? Like, enjoying the lifestyle you have, flexibility, right? Corporate life is hope you don't have to look back at your corporate life.
I mean, I can always look back on my corporate life. Frankly, I think it molded me into I mean, with everyone, I guess we all gain experiences from a corporate life. And likewise, I've always been very blessed with a lot of opportunities given to me in my last company, or whichever career I was in. I mean, everyone go through a journey or a process, right? I mean, frankly, I used to be very young and naive, I always remember this incident, right, when my boss didn't promote me, right? I started crying in front of him, right? And started asking, why didn't you promote me, etc. To a journey, or to a stage where I felt like I've matured a lot, learning to adapt to certain situation, or handle people. I think with every job that we have, it's all about handling people, right? So I feel like definitely corporate life molded me into an individual whereby it gave me the experience to cope with situation, to connect with people, to solve problems. I won't say that I regretted corporate life, just that now that I'm dabbling with all these things on my own, I mean, I wouldn't want to go back to it, but I learned a lot from it for sure.
Yes, definitely.
小时候妈妈说过，流浪也要勇敢抬着头。你走后，自己生活，我的委屈有谁会懂？出院后，多些朋友都住在同一个收容所。时间流走，天天的过，独自抱却也好难过。就这一颗简单的心，一直 耐心地等待着，我盼的美梦始终还是一场空。等待是一种折磨，并我也不轻易放过。软弱的身躯开始屈服了，不能奔向你怀中。等待是一种折磨，仍然没有你的承诺。只怕忘了是，若是流浪狗，亲爱的主人，请你